Hey everybody, it's the Goatee Wrestling Review champion Minnesota Joe, and wow, I just got done watching NXT TakeOver. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and wow, I'm just speechless. That main event. Let's get into this, man. I gotta talk about this show's. Wow. I am still trying to compose my thoughts about everything, man. It's just crazy. What a great show. Oh my god. Okay. Tonight's show was awesome. It was freaking awesome. Everything about it was amazing. Every match was good. Even a week after watching Dominion, where that was probably the best show of the year, which had probably the best match of all time, even this show was awesome. That's how good NXT is right now. If you're not watching NXT, if you're not watching NXT TakeOver, watch it. Alright? Don't watch this review until you've watched NXT TakeOver, because wow, this show was just freaking great. I'm just saying that right now. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about TakeOver in these awesome matches. Match 1, Undisputed Era versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. First thing I noticed is that Undisputed Era is way over in Chicago. The Chicago fans love them, you know. It's great. Chicago is big on Undisputed Era, and Adam Cole, baby. He came out for the match. Like, everybody was going crazy. And Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan got booed out of the building, man. Like, they got cheered during the match. I mean, by the end of the match, like, you know, it was even, but I mean, shit, like, they were heels coming into this match. I mean, even though Undisputed Era was playing heel, they were really the baby faces in this match, because, wow, the fans love them. So I'm really happy for Undisputed Era that they're getting that over right now, and they're not just, you know, gonna be, you know, fans love them. They're just awesome. I love Undisputed Era. This is my second favorite feud in wrestling right now. I mean, first being Tommaso and freaking Gargano, man. But yeah, this is my second favorite feud because this feud is awesome. These guys are putting on awesome matches, and tonight was no exception. So, like, you know, match starts out really even and stuff, you know, then Undisputed Era is taking over, but still, like, Lorcan and Burch, they're doing cool double team moves. They did a suplex on, like, a double suplex onto, like, the other member of Undisputed Era. It was pretty sick. Yeah, fans aren't behind Oney and Danny after all their cool moves they do and all this stuff. They're still not behind them. O'Reilly, he does this really nice knee bar. He's really showing great ground offense in the match, just really taking it to the ground and showing off his mat-based skills and all that. Just really awesome. But, you know, after a while, Burch hits him with an awesome headbutt, which is like, oh, that was brutal. Really brutal looking headbutt there. And Lorcan gets a hot tag, and they get a little bit more behind them as the match goes on. There's as Marwanell would say, tope suicida, mamma mia. And awesome, man. Lorcan, he's doing awesome suplexes. The pace is picking up. There's very close near falls all over the match. Lorcan, he takes his nasty bump onto the apron. Like, they're going for like a double team move, and here comes freaking Roderick Strong pushing him off. He lands right on the apron. I'm like, oh my god, that hurts so bad. Yeah, like, there's Lorcan and Burch, they've been doing this double blockbuster throughout the match, and they do it to the outside. Oh, it looks so brutal. Beautiful move from Lorcan and Burch onto O'Reilly and Adam Cole. He pulls out O'Reilly like during the middle of the pin, and he checks on him, and then Adam Cole gets ejected, and man, the boos that booed down after that were crazy. The fans were so pissed. They're chanting, "This is bullshit. No, he doesn't deserve to get kicked out even though he cheated." That's how great Undisputed Era is. Even if they cheat, they're still going to get cheered. It doesn't matter. Fans will be like, "No more logic. This is bullshit. He should be in this match." I love the fans of Chicago. They're really awesome, man. And O'Reilly, O'Reilly puts on the guillotine choke, and Lorcan powers out, and Lorcan then hits him with a power bomb, and then that as he grabs onto the leg, O'Reilly kicks out and turns into a single leg Boston Crab, and then Roderick Strong comes in to break it up, and here comes Danny Burch from the other side to put him in the crossface, and like they're both sitting there, and it's just like they're struggling, but then Roddy gets over, flips over, and kicks Lorcan in the face multiple times and just breaks up the pin. The match ends when both teams, they just stand up and they just start punching and throwing kicks at each other, stiff kicks, just kicking ass. Looks awesome. They're just beating the shit out of each other, and this ends in a chop block and a clothesline by Undisputed Era for the win. It was an awesome match, really awesome opener to the show. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. By the way, should mention this. I'm gonna try out for my pay-per-views. I'm gonna rate each match and then the pay-per-view. I don't know if I'm gonna do it for like Raw and SmackDown and NXT. Like, even though there's awesome matches on there, like, I feel like the pay-per-views are probably gonna, matter more for the rating. But, if I decide to, maybe I'll start doing that and start rating the shows on a 1 to 10 scale. But I'm gonna start rating the matches. Yeah, this match is an 8 out of 10 for me. And Burch and Lorcan, they get a standing ovation at the end of the match, which I'm like, yes, good for you guys. Because I'm like, Lorcan and Burch are awesome. They deserve a lot of respect. And I was really disappointed at the beginning that, they were getting booed. I'm like, Lorcan and Burch are awesome. Like, I think they're really great. And I hope this isn't the end of this feud. I hope that they still continue to do good. I hope that this just goes on to one more TakeOver, honestly. Because this feud's awesome. And, you include Pete Dunne into it. Hell, have Pete Dunne versus Adam Cole in a champion versus champion match for both titles. And, do that at the next TakeOver. Do another match with these guys for the tag titles. Let's have this happen. Come on. This feud is great between the 6 of them. Match 2 is Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. They show the same video package that they showed on NXT. That's awesome. That's my favorite video package of this year, showing Ricochet's indies and then Velveteen's WWE experience, and how they're basically on both sides of the spectrum. You got your WWE guy, Velveteen Dream, and you got your indie guy, Ricochet, and it's awesome. This had potential to be match of the night, totally, and I was like, yeah, this match is gonna be great. I don't know, but like, I'm nervous because I don't want it to suck. Velveteen Dream comes out dressed like Hulk Hogan, which I thought was awesome. I love me a little bit of Hulk Hogan once in a while, and seeing Velveteen Dream come out and imitating the Hulkster and doing all his moves and ripping the shirt like him and all this shit. I'm like, oh yeah, I loved it. This is amazing. And then Ricochet comes out with this awesome cape with these wings on it, and I'm like, oh my god, these guys are just trying to out-fashion each other. Just awesome. And there's dueling chants for both of them as the match starts. You get your Velveteen and Ricochet chants, just going crazy. And like I said, Dream at the beginning of the match, he puts him in the corner, puts Ricochet in the corner, rolls out and does the Hulk Hogan pose. I'm like, yes, awesome. That was my favorite thing of this whole match. Okay, not my favorite thing of this whole match, but one of my favorite things is just Velveteen doing Hulk Hogan poses. And, I'll talk about later what else he does. It's Hulk Hogan like. It starts off really technical. Like, even the announcers say that, hey, Ricochet, he's known for being really athletic and flying throughout the air, but he's also a really good technical wrestler. And he shows us here. He shows here how great of a technical wrestler he is. Him and Velveteen are going back and forth. And then the pace suddenly starts to kick in and it gets faster. And both these guys are flying around the ring, leading to like the spot where they're both doing their poses and looking at each other. And the fans are just going wild and crazy. It's awesome. And the fans are going nuts. Ricochet, he goes for a springboard, but gets knocked off and neck first into the ropes. The story of the match is basically Velveteen trying to, match Ricochet. He's just trying to outdo him and say, whatever you can do, the Dream can do it better. And that was awesome because, you got Velveteen, he's doing springboards, he's doing a lot more, trying to do some high-flying moves and stuff. And Ricochet, when he's starting to get a bit of a comeback, Velveteen pushes him outside, and Ricochet just flies through the middle rope and almost lands on his neck. I'm like, oh no, that was gross. Like, I don't want to see shit like that. Honestly, I get that enough in New Japan. I don't need to see it here, right? I don't like watching people almost die. If you can hear my dog, he's right next to me. Sorry. Okay. Then Velveteen does this really awesome dive outside. He kind of steps on the second rope and just flops forward right onto Ricochet. And fans start chanting, both these guys. It's just awesome. Ricochet comes back with 2 suicide dives. Does one, where he goes to the middle rope, and the other jumps over, does a twist and a backflip, lands right onto him like in a moonsault style. Just awesome. Ricochet hits a standing shooting star press for a near fall. Velveteen makes his comeback after crotching Ricochet and does a middle rope Death Valley driver for a near fall, which is crazy. And then the craziest spot of the whole match, which I thought was going to be craziest spot of the whole night, but hey, just kept getting topped. Velveteen, Ricochet, he's going for the suplex to the outside. Then Velveteen reverses, grabs Ricochet, and suplexes both of them outside off the apron onto the floor. And just, that looks so brutal. Both of the guys look so hurt after that. Man, they're going to need some ice. That was terrible. And Dream, he hits another Death Valley driver for a near fall. The fans just keep going nuts. And Velveteen, after that, he gets up, he grabs Ricochet, he says, you belong at a bingo hall. He's like, I'm the future of this company. And, one thing that they mentioned was actually the endorsements that both these guys got. Like, John Cena endorsed Velveteen Dream, said, hey, Velveteen Dream, I feel is going to be the future of the company. And then The Rock, they mentioned how he endorsed Ricochet a little while back, which was awesome. Which, yeah, it's great that both these guys are getting endorsed by some of the top guys in the company and in wrestling in general. Wow. I hope big things for the both of these guys. Seriously, once Ricochet hits main roster, I feel like eventually he'll be one of the top guys. Same with Velveteen. Velveteen, he's 22 years old, 23, something like that. Really, really young. He's not much older than I am. And, wow. I could see him maybe in 10 years being WWE champion. If he stays this good and stays this strong of a character and kicks this much ass, he's going to be amazing. But anyways, Velveteen, he's saying, I'm a wrestling god. I'm the god of wrestling, which I'm like, that is so Hulk Hogan-like. It's crazy. Oh my god. Yeah, that was so funny. But then Ricochet gets up, hits Dream with a Death Valley driver of his own, and then Ricochet hits a purple Rainmaker elbow for a near fall. Everybody's just going nuts. And then Velveteen moves to is like no. Here's what happens. Velveteen, he's sitting in the corner, kind of getting like in a setup for the 6:30. Then he rolls out of the way into the middle of the ring to avoid it. So Ricochet says, "Screw him, going for it." Does a shooting star press, but Velveteen gets his knees up, and Ricochet is on the ground. Velveteen goes for the cover. 1, 2, kick out, and everybody just goes nuts. And Velveteen, he sees Ricochet in the corner, so Velveteen says, "I'm gonna one up you," and he goes like Ricochet is literally on the entire opposite side of the ring, at least 20 feet. I mean, I don't know how far the ring is. I think it's a 20 by 20 ring, really far, 20 feet. Ricochet goes flying, and Velveteen Dream goes flying. Ricochet moves out of the way. Velveteen Dream misses the Purple Rainmaker, which sets up Ricochet for the 6:30 onto the back of Velveteen Dream for the big win. This match is freaking awesome. If you haven't watched it, if you haven't seen TakeOver, watch the whole show. This match for me, 9 out of 10. Oh my god. One of the matches of the night. And, maybe by the end of the year, I'll say it's in my top 10 matches of the year. Because I got a lot of matches of the year this year. And, I don't know. Even this match might not make it. It's crazy. And this match is awesome. Any other year, this would probably be match of the year. But this year, I don't think so. It's definitely not. We had the greatest match of all time. Omega and Okada. Alright. Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross. Yeah, this match was pretty fun. I liked this match. Like, sure, it's not as good as the other two, and, it's kind of like a little bit less fast-paced, but you know what? It's still in its own right, in its own ways. It's fun. I liked it a lot. And Shayna, she starts out in a fighting stance, but Nikki, she doesn't move, and she's, like, begging to get beaten up, and she looks so excited for Shayna to kick her ass and stuff, and Shayna's just so weirded out. Like, that's what I kind of like about this storyline is that Shayna, she's bullied everybody in the locker room. She's bullied everybody, but this Nikki Cross girl, she just can't get to, and it freaks her out. She's like, "Why can't I get to you? Everybody else, you're not normal. What's wrong with you?" It's so creepy and weird to her, and it's great. This is what you should have done instead of Dakota Kai and boom, gonna stand up to the bully and then get her ass kicked. Yeah, good anti-bullying campaign there. Yeah, the bully will always win, except when the fucking psycho comes around. Alright. So Nikki, she gets a choke on Shayna, and Baszler, she gets one of her own afterwards after she slips out, but then Nikki drives her into the corner and brings her to the outside, and Nikki gets back on her back and tries to put her another choke, but Shayna comes and just drops her right onto the frickin' steel area of the ramp, and I was like, oh poor Nikki, she's just dead. Yeah, Baszler, she basically starts to take a bit of control, and she's not silly, but she's still smiling and asks for more and hits her comeback. The crowd goes wild and loves it. There's a crossbody for the near fall. Reverse DDT onto the apron for the near fall for Nikki. Shayna counters with a knee, and Nikki, she hits this top, like a apron neck breaker for near fall. Like, Shayna just gets her foot on the rope, and Nikki just goes absolutely bananas. And then Baszler, as Nikki's gonna go for more, gets the choke on to Nikki, and Nikki is starting to pass out, but right before she passes out, Nikki just puts on a smile as she falls asleep, showing how crazy she is and how tough she is. Overall, this match was fun, and both women look good in it. I gotta say, Shayna, she looked great. Nikki looks great. They both look like badasses by the end of this match. I'm gonna, screw it. I was gonna say 7, but I'm gonna give it like a 7.5. Why not? I'll go between 7 and 8. Yeah, that's right. I can do halves. This is my show. I can do what I want. Don't argue with me. It's my rating system. But yeah, it was a great match. I recommend it. Like, sure, probably the weakest match of the night. Like the the match I liked the least, but even then I still liked it. It's great. It's a great match. Next thing they go through the crowd. They showed Kairi Sane and they showed EC3, which I thought was a little weird. I'm like, wow, I guess nobody's going to be here. But then Keith Lee shows up, and I'm like, oh my god, Keith Lee. Which, everybody's expecting eventually for him to come to NXT. And hey, I can't wait to see him, Like, I haven't watched a lot of Keith Lee, like, personally. But I heard he's great, and a lot of people are talking about him, and, I've heard so much buzz about him and all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what, all right. Let's see how he does. I'm excited. Let's see how Keith Lee does. I can't wait for him to wow me. I'm pretty sure he'll do great. All right, match 4, Aleister Black versus Lars Sullivan with an awesome, and I mean awesome, promo for the start of the match. With Aleister Black, he's in like a dark room and he's like butt ass naked and shit, and just surrounded by candles, and it's just creepy and weird and awesome and mysterious. And let's talk about like how he's a great champion, and Lars is just like a monster, and like, you can't hit the black mass on me, and just recaps everything that's been going on in this feud. And yeah, first off, Lars is an awesome heel monster. I like Lars as a heel. He's great. I love Lars. I think he's awesome. Like, he's fun. You see, a lot of people do like the wrestlers that are all flippy and they do a lot of comedy stuff. And I like those wrestlers too. Like, I love Ricochet. But we need a guy like Lars around, just some big guy to be tossing people around and just be a monster, maybe champion once or twice. Just a big, scary monster guy to just scare everybody. That's what we need. And Aleister Black is a freaking cool badass. Aleister Black is one of the coolest guys to ever step through a WWE curtain. He looks great. His packaging is awesome. His moves are awesome. His finisher is awesome. I love Aleister Black. Oh, he's the best. At the beginning of the match, there's a stare down in the middle of the ring between the two of them. And Lars is basically like, oh, really? You think it's going to take one black mass? At most, you need 2. At most, you need 3. Blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. Just talking shit. And he says, come on, get a shot at me. And, Aleister, he starts hitting him. He goes for the black mass early. Lars catches it. Showing off, yeah, that's right. I can still catch your black mass. You can't stop me. Black, he suddenly starts, having to come back after a while and just kicks Lars out of the ring. And, oh my god, this double knee to the floor, like, he gets on the apron, he hits Lars with the double knees. Lars lands, like, right here, and just, his legs go straight up, and he just tumbles over. I'm like, oh, that looks worse than frickin' Velveteen Dream and Ricochet. At least they landed on their backs. They didn't have to land on their shoulders and neck area. That was terrible. But yeah, I'm like, man, Lars is a tough son of a bitch. And yeah, and Aleister Black gets him back in, hits him with a knee to the jaw for a 1 count. Which is like, man. Surprisingly, the match is really fast paced with Aleister Black. And Sullivan, he powers into control and basically takes over for a bit. And then Black throws him right into the post and goes up top for a moonsault to the outside. But Lars just catches him and destroys him, basically. And then Lars throws him in the ring. He puts him in the headlock and, slows down the match for a little bit. Which is like, all right, here we go with the little match slowing. I gotta say, one problem I have with WWE is just the cliche of like the whole chin lock spot where like everybody claps and then the guy comes to make his comeback and blah blah blah. But even here it wasn't that. But here it wasn't that bad. It wasn't too long, and it didn't really take away from the match. Where's I in my notes? Sorry. Okay. Oh yeah, Aleister, he gets out. He tries to go for a roll-up, but Lars, he just grabs him, and he hits him with a world's strongest slam, and, in memory of our great Hall of Famer, Mark Henry. I love Mark. Mark Henry's awesome. And it's great that Lars Sullivan used his move. Lars, he just really shows how much resilience he has with all this punishment he takes. He tries to go to the top, but Black stops him, and Lars smacks like Black with like his hand. It just knocks him off the top rope, like just slaps him right in the chest. He goes flying off the top rope. It's like, ooh. And then he goes for the diving headbutt, but Alistair gets the knee up, and Black, he makes this awesome comeback, but then Lars hits a chop block right to Alistair's knee and just messes up his knee. And Lars, he goes in for the submission, but Black eventually gets out. Lars goes for a freak accident, and then Alistair Black hits the DDT reversal, and then they just both start trading punches and stuff. And there's a power slam onto the apron by Lars, diving headbutt for a near fall. And Black, he tries to hit the Black Mass, but he misses. They say he gets a bit of it, and like Lars kicks out at 2. And it was a bit of a botch. Fans started chanting, "You fucked up" and stuff. But, we all make mistakes. But this didn't take away from the match, because they just become professional. And what do they do? Lars, he gets up, tries to hit a freak accident, but then Black hits Lars with the Black Mass, and Lars just gets up and just screams as Black hits him with another Black Mass for the win. Overall, this match was awesome, I thought. I give it an 8 out of 10. This match was fun. Like, I heard from Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio. He was saying, like, yeah, like, they had matches in the house shows, and they were good. They weren't great. And, like, like, they always ended in DQ. I thought this was pretty freaking awesome for a big guy versus a athletic little guy match, Well, I mean, I guess not little guy, but, like, your average guy, versus a monster, It's like, it's fun. This was awesome. Like, for that type of match, And then we get to this match. Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano. Let's get into it. My favorite feud of the year. How does this go? They do their recap, and afterwards, Johnny, he's walking backstage. His wife Candice goes up to him. Everybody thinks, oh, she's going to say, try to convince him one last time or something. But no, she hands him a crutch and says, go kick his ass. And the fans go cheering. And, he comes out. The fans are going crazy for Johnny. But then here comes Ciampa, and he's got a crutch too. And then Tommaso, he just rushes right into the ring. They both get their crutches. They both try to hit each other with them. Johnny blocks it with his own crutch. It's just crazy. They're both fighting back and forth. Oh, just awesome stuff. Johnny, he takes control early, throws him to the outside of the ring, and he throws him over the announce table and takes out Nigel McGuinness with freaking Tommaso Ciampa. I was like, Nigel, no. One thing that's kind of disappointing is that Mauro Ranallo wasn't here. Like, man, like, he's one of the big players in this story because of how much he hates Tommaso Ciampa like the rest of us. But, I mean, even then, this match was good enough that the guy they had doing it, the guy from 205 Live, Vicky Rames? I forgot his name. But he was good in this, He was good. And Nigel, he was good as well to kind of, like, fill in for Mauro a little bit, I'd say, for the whole, Mauro not being here. He kind of filled in a bit of this role of, like, despicable Ciampa. I don't like him. So, yeah. This goes into the crowd, and Ciampa, he tries to rip apart this sign, and I thought it was just, like, a poster board or whatever, like one of those cardboard kind of signs, and, like, Ciampa's struggling to rip it. I was like, oh, the fans are present. And then Johnny attacks him. Johnny grabs it. He pulls out a frickin' stop sign and started beating the shit out of him with it. And it's just crazy. The fans are going crazy as Ciampa's getting his ass kicked. And then Johnny, he flies 15 feet in the air from the crowd and just lands right on top of him with a crossbody. And wow, that was crazy. They get back to the ring. Gargano, he grabs a garbage can, a lid, and a chair, throws out in the ring. Tommaso, he gets control after a German suplex. and he keeps on suplexing him like 3 times. And the announcers are doing a good job saying, like, Johnny, he has history of neck problems right now with all the damage that Tommaso's done to his neck. This isn't good for him. And yeah, that's really selling the match and all this. And it's just great. Johnny hits one of his own, and Tommaso gets out of the ring, and then he hits him with a suicide dive. It was awesome. Ciampa, he hits Gargano with his braced knee. Tommaso, he grabs the steps and rearranges them, which we're all like, well, great. This is probably going to end really badly. And Johnny, he gets a chair put around his head, and he gets driven right into the steel steps. And the way Johnny went into those steps was just crazy. He just went like a torpedo, just right into the steps. And I was like, oh no, Johnny's dead. He's going to die. This match is going to kill him. These guys were killing each other in this match. Holy shit. He hits Johnny with a garbage can. And then he grabs the garbage can, and Johnny's head is lying on the steps. He throws it right at the steps and just smacks right into Johnny Gargano's head. And that was so brutal looking. I don't know if Johnny got his hand up or whatever. I couldn't see if he got his hand up or if he got actually in the head, but oh my god, that's just scary looking. Like, it's not like Johnny's head's like in the step area over here, and then boom, the can hits the step. No, it just hit right into his head. Like, oh my god, this is just a brutal match. Tommaso grabs his shirt and puts it around Gargano's mouth, and the fans are just hating him. They're booing him, saying "F you, Ciampa." One thing I gotta say about the fans is that I heard them chant "Psycho Killer," and like some people say "Go Ciampa" and stuff, and I was like, oh no, this might take away from the match. But luckily, there's enough fans there who hate Ciampa to make this great, and and the fans made it great. Like the people chanting for Ciampa didn't take away from the match, because these two guys were killing it in there. Mauro not being there didn't matter. This match was awesome. And Ciampa hits Gargano with a slingshot right into the bottom turnbuckle, and I'm like, no, you're just killing each other so hard. Then Ciampa grabs some handcuffs, but tries to put them on Johnny, but Johnny doesn't let that happen. Johnny hits a spear through the ropes, and he takes his belt off and just starts whipping Ciampa with it like it's like it's back in the 30s, and Ciampa's just a misbehaving boy. The fans are chanting, "You deserve it," and it was awesome. I loved it. That's great. Yes, chant "You deserve it" for that shit, because he fucking deserves it. Fuck you, Ciampa. I hate Ciampa so much. He's an asshole. The garbage can gets put over Ciampa's head, and Johnny super kicks that thing, and it was awesome. There's a Project Ciampa by Tommaso, and a knee strike with the garbage can lid. He puts the garbage can lid in front of his knee, so then it hits Johnny. That leads to a near fall. Ciampa hits a Celtic cross onto the steps for a near fall, and then Ciampa gets back there, gets back to the outside, goes under the ring in the toolbox, and he sees these bolt cutters, and he starts cutting the wires, and everybody's like, what's he doing? And he starts just exposing the ring, and it's just crazy. He's ripping apart the entire ring to show the freaking boards that are holding up. No protection there. It's, oh my god. It's so crazy. Ciampa, he puts Gargano up on there, and he starts biting his ear and stuff, and he's just going crazy. But then Gargano, he escapes doom by Ciampa. He almost basically sunset flipped Ciampa into there, kind of like the whole spot with the concrete, except this time with the boards. Ciampa, he stops it, but then Johnny pulls him through and super kicks him as Ciampa falls down. And he hits Ciampa with the trash can lid for a near fall. Johnny, he goes for a dive outside, but then Ciampa smacks him in the face with the garbage can lid, which also looks so brutal. You guys are killing each other so much. I barely want to watch because I'm so scared for your lives. This is not fun. I mean, it is fun, but it's just scary. So scary to watch this. But that's kind of the point of this whole feud. It's just how evil it's getting. These guys are killing each other. It's awesome. I'm so conflicted. I don't know if I want them to be safe or if I want them to kill each other. So many moral questions. Okay, where was I? Okay. Ciampa goes for another knee strike right into Johnny to the steel steps, but Johnny gets out of the way and Ciampa hits his knee. Gargano attacks his knee. He starts ripping it apart with this chair, just destroying his knee, and just, it's bad. Just not looking good. Just dominating this guy's knee. Just awful. Tommaso, he gets a Gargano escape onto Gargano. Ciampa tries to go for a submission with a crutch, kind of like how Johnny did with Ciampa's knee brace. But, doesn't work. Ciampa hits Gargano in the neck with this crutch for a near fall. Ciampa, then afterwards, he takes Gargano and they're outside. He grabs Gargano, kind of like they would, did back in Chicago, and they're walking up the ramp, and he's saying, "You are my brother. You're my best friend. You're basically family to me. You brought this onto us," and all this stuff. It's all his fault. And he smashes Gargano into the screen, and then he hits him with a knee. And Ciampa, the referee comes and says, "Ciampa, that's enough." And Ciampa says, "No, it's never not enough. It'll never be enough." And Ciampa, he gets Johnny near these tables that are right by the sound area, and he's all cocky, and it was brutal. Johnny grabs Ciampa and does that Celtic cross right through those two tables, just like Ciampa did to him at TakeOver Chicago a year ago. And wow, that spot was so brutal. They showed a replay many times of it, and those tables didn't give much protection, because when they broke, this immediately snapped through, and both guys landed right on the concrete, and both guys looked so hurt. It was so brutal. Oh, it was so brutal. I couldn't believe how brutal that was. That was awful. I was like, no. The Ciampa's like, "Come on, I need help. I can't feel. No, help me." And the ref said, "Come on, we need to get him some help." And the trainers come and check on Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano sits up on that spot where he dropped him off, and Johnny, he's sitting there watching him, just like Ciampa did back in Chicago. And one thing I forgot to mention, this is an important detail. I can't believe I didn't mention this. I'm so sorry. Johnny, while he's Ciampa, when he gets Johnny up there, he grabs Johnny's wedding ring off of Johnny Gargano's hand, spits on it, and then chucks it. Just gone. Wedding ring's gone. I mean, obviously that's not Johnny Gargano's real wedding ring. That'd be awful. But I mean, wow. What a fucking heel. What a terrible, terrible person. Which is why I'm happy Ciampa went through that table there. Ugh. But, Ciampa, he starts to bleed. He sees some blood on his shoulder, and I think a little bit on his face. He's just so sore, and he's screaming in pain, and he's being taken away. But then Johnny, he looks down at his hand, and he realizes what Ciampa did to his wedding ring and tossed it. So he grabs that stretcher, and he basically starts taking him back to the ring. He won't let them get taken away. Johnny, he pushes a trainer into the referee, and the referee is down. Knocks out the referee. So when Johnny, he brings him back into the ring, Ciampa's begging for mercy, and he puts him in the Gargano escape, and Ciampa's tapping out, but there's no referee, and the guy's coming to break it up. And Johnny, he fights off the security. He puts handcuffs onto Ciampa and puts Ciampa into another hold. He kept super kicking Ciampa in the face while Ciampa is on the ground on his knees in handcuffs, just kicking him after another. Brutal shit. Just so freaking brutal. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It's awful, but awesome. These guys weren't wrestling. They were fighting. This is not a wrestling match. This is a brawl. And He just keeps destroying him, puts him in another hold submission, and just with the handcuffs on, and Ciampa keeps tapping out, but no referee. And then Gargano, he gets taken away by the security, but then Gargano, he punches them all off. He goes through the other side where the exposed thing is, probably trying to put Ciampa through there, because Ciampa, he's crawling over there. Ciampa, while he's in those handcuffs, he grabs Johnny around his neck and DDTs him right onto the exposed wood, killing Johnny Gargano. And Johnny, he's sitting there with his arms twitching like this. Ciampa just lies on top. Referee comes in. 1, 2, 3. Ciampa is your winner. Holy shit, what a match. This match, for me, gives it 10 out of 10. I honestly enjoyed it more than the TakeOver New Orleans match. Like, wow. TakeOver New Orleans was awesome. That was my second favorite match of the year. Now it's my third. Well, actually, no. Actually, it was my third, but now it's my fourth. This is my third. Blah, sorry. This match was, wow. I'm speechless. I can't believe it happened. And the ending was great because it sets up for one more match between these two. And I want to see one more match between these two. I think that Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa deserve to have the first ever NXT Hell in a Cell match. I think that might be where this is going, because they're fighting the crowd, they're destroying each other all over. It's like, what else do they have? Are they have another street fight? Another street fight style match? No. Put them in Hell in a Cell, the first ever NXT Hell in a Cell match. That would be insane. And they deserve it. They've been killing this feud. They've been doing so good. It's so brutal. It's so awful to watch. Ugh. One match in Hell in a Cell with these two. It might beat Michaels and Taker's Hell in a Cell match, aka the first Hell in a Cell match, which might be the best one. Or it might, it could be End of an Era. That match, Hell in a Cell match, was awesome too. It could beat that one. This match needs to happen. Put it in Hell in a Cell. I would love to see it. So yeah, 10 out of 10. One of my matches of the year, probably. We'll have to see if it stays that way, because if they're going to have one more match, it might have to just, be bumped down again. Because Okada is killing it with Omega, the best match of all time. Now these two are having one of the best matches of the year twice. These guys can't stop. They're doing so good. I just love it. And then the last image, Ciampa, he's shaking. He's just... They're both selling this match afterwards. Fantastic. Ciampa's got welts all over his back from the belt. Gargano, he's in the ring and he's twitching his hands, and Candice is in there checking on her husband, and Gargano looks defeated and beat and just messed up. Ciampa, he's using the stretcher to get up the ramp, and he stands up, goes like this, and then as the show closes, your fans shouting, "Fuck you, Ciampa! Fuck you, Ciampa!" And that's how the show ends. Wow. That got to me. I was like, holy shit. Match of the night, definitely. Ugh. If you haven't seen it, well, damn you for watching me. You should have watched it yourself and then came back and watched my show. Because this match was freaking great. It was so good. Wow. I can't handle it. I'm speechless how great this match was. I don't know what to say. I just have to show you the match. Because it was freaking awesome. I didn't think they could top New Orleans, but they did. I can't believe it. My rating for NXT TakeOver Chicago is an 8.5 out of 10. If I had to rate New Orleans, I'd probably give it a 9 or a 9.5. not quite 10, but up there with probably one of the best takeovers ever. I'd probably say actually 9.5, we'll say. And this I'm gonna give 8.5 because it had great matches, but New Orleans' matches were just something special. That show was something special. Right before the biggest event of the year and all this stuff. But this show was awesome too. I really liked TakeOver. It was a fantastic show. TakeOver Chicago. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Unfortunately, you know what's going to happen. And damn you for not listening to me at the beginning of this review and just going back to watch it. Because this show is... you won't regret it. Even after watching Dominion. That's the thing that impresses me the most. But yeah, guys, thank you again. I'll see you next time. Sorry for being a bit behind on videos. Just been really busy with stuff. And, just had some family issues. Had a death in the family. Got to deal with that. But, I appreciate everybody who sits and watches me and joining me on this journey. And I wish you all a good night.